I'm Dick Gray, and I entered the Army in August 31st, 1966. And I entered as a private, and I had a chance to go to officer candidate school, and I did go for 6 months training in officer candidate school. I was commissioned a second lieutenant on the 25th of September, 1967, and I served for the next 2 years, leaving the Army as a first lieutenant in the end of September 1969. Like most people who've served in the military, all of us have memories from wherever we were in, or the stories that go from bland, I didn't really do much of anything, to describing moments of sheer terror while in combat. And many veterans suppress their memories after leaving the service because they just want to get on with life in the civilian world. Sadly, for many veterans who experience traumatic experiences while in the service, the trauma could be from being wounded in combat or seeing others being killed or wounded. And for some, the trauma can come from being assaulted by a fellow member of the military. The memories of those episodes are usually repressed because there's either no one who understands what we went through, or that they can talk to about the repressed memories, and there's no organizational method for putting your words down on paper that expresses what you want others to know. The path to voices began when there was a notice put out to Vietnam veterans who would be interested in loaning any memorabilia items they had kept from their time in Vietnam to be put on display at a new museum that was going to be located at the Orange County Fairgrounds. I had several items that I could lend out, so I made an appointment to bring my items to the OC Fair headquarters for viewing. 4 of my items were selected, and I was told about the building to be called Heroes Hall that was going to be constructed from a building that had been part of the Army Air Force Training Center during World War II, and that had been on the grounds where the fair is now located. And the first collection of items would be from the Vietnam conflict. Several weeks later, I received a bulletin about a new opportunity for veterans who were from all branches of the military, covering from World War II to the present, to tell their stories in a group setting before a live audience. I felt like this was something I should do and could do, but there was a hang-up for me that involved several weeks of preparation before the event, and I would have to miss half the prep time due to business travel and a vacation scheduled in Europe. I did attend the first event and liked what I saw and the stories of the presenters. When the next event was scheduled, I signed up on the day I received the announcement. When I first came to the meeting that Dave Barton, the moderator, organizer, and scriptwriter, was having, several veterans whose service spanned the time frame of World War II, the current conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan, were directed to sit around in a small group and tell the others who we were, what service we'd served in, plus the time frame of that service. I didn't know what to expect or what was going to be expected of me. After the normal introductions, Dave gave each a journal book and a writing pen and told us to start putting down our experience of our time in the military. When the night concluded, we were instructed to take our books home and transcribe what we'd written down into a Word document that could be edited and bring the pages back to the next meeting. Mine happened to end up being 40 pages long. Thus started the editing process that would take my document down to 20 pages, then 14 pages, and finally down to 9 pages. Once the editing was done on all the stories that the attendees would be reading to the audience, we had a run through with each of us speaking our part, and then all of us felt like we'd done what we never had been able to articulate before. The night arrived and our group sat around inside Heroes Hall at the Orange County Fairgrounds and joked about the funny things that happened to us while we were in the service. At the appointed time, Dave Barton told us to come out onto the stage and take our respective chairs and do a sound check with the microphones in front of us. Dave had already introduced the audience to those of us who would be telling our stories. but by reading a portion of our stories in a staggered format until all of us had finished our stories. For me, it was a relief to finally know my story was out there, and there weren't any recriminations directed at me from anyone in the audience. I have become a firm believer that veterans' individual stories need to be put down in a permanent written format, told by the veteran or someone close to the veteran that is willing to share the story. And the story needs to be recorded and preserved so that others in the years to come can come to know a veteran and his or her story. Voices gave me that opportunity.